Air travel is a unique experience that can affect passengers in unexpected ways. One peculiar phenomenon that has gained attention is the tendency for people to become more emotional, particularly prone to crying, while watching movies on flights. This article explores the various factors that may contribute to this heightened emotional state, dubbed the Mile Cry Club, and examines both physiological and psychological explanations for why we might be more likely to tear up at 30,000 feet. The phenomenon: emotional responses in the air. In 2011, Virgin Atlantic Airlines humorously addressed this phenomenon by introducing emotional content warnings before certain in-flight movies. These weren't for graphic or violent content, but for films that might induce tears. This lighthearted approach highlighted a widely reported yet understudied occurrence: passengers finding themselves more emotionally affected by movies during flights than they would be on the ground. A survey conducted by Virgin Atlantic in the same year found that 55% of respondents reported experiencing heightened emotions while flying. This statistic underscores the prevalence of the phenomenon and raises questions about what might be causing these intensified emotional responses. Physiological factors. Several physiological changes occur during air travel that could potentially contribute to increased emotional sensitivity. 1. Cabin pressure and oxygen levels. Aircraft cabins are pressurized, but not to sea level equivalents. The air pressure in a typical flight cabin is comparable to being at an altitude of 1,500 to 2,400 meters, about 5,000 to 8,000 feet. This reduced pressure means passengers are breathing air with lower oxygen levels than they're accustomed to on the ground. Research has associated lower oxygen levels at higher altitudes with various effects: increased fatigue, heightened feelings of depression, lower inhibition, other cognitive and mood alterations. While our bodies can adapt to these changes over time, usually within 24 hours, most flights aren't long enough for this adjustment to occur. The combination of slight oxygen deprivation, fatigue, and reduced emotional regulation could create an environment conducive to heightened emotional responses. 2. Dehydration. Airplane cabins typically maintain a humidity level of 10 to 20%, significantly lower than the 35 to 65% range most people find comfortable. This dry environment leads to increased water loss through evaporation and breathing, potentially resulting in mild dehydration. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, which in turn can make individuals more emotionally reactive. The connection between dehydration, tiredness, and emotional sensitivity could partly explain why passengers might find themselves tearing up more easily during flights. 3. Disrupted sleep patterns. Air travel often involves early departures, late arrivals, or crossing time zones, all of which can disrupt normal sleep patterns. Sleep deprivation or irregular sleep can significantly impact emotional regulation, making individuals more susceptible to emotional stimuli. Psychological factors. Beyond the physical changes experienced during flight, several psychological factors may contribute to the Mile Cry Club phenomenon. 1. Intimate viewing experience. Media scholars have proposed that watching movies on airplanes creates a more intimate viewing experience than typical media consumption. Several factors contribute to this. Proximity to screens. Airplane screens are usually much closer to the viewer than a home television. Use of headphones. This creates a more immersive audio experience. Focused attention. Limited distractions during flight allow for more engagement with the content. This increased engagement may lead to a stronger emotional connection with the movie's narrative and characters, potentially intensifying emotional responses. 2. Travel-related stress. Air travel can be inherently stressful for many people. Factors contributing to this stress include fear of flying, affecting up to 40% of people to some degree, time pressures and scheduling concerns, navigating airport security and crowds, managing luggage, dealing with potential delays or cancellations, lack of control over the travel situation. Stress can lower our emotional threshold, making us more likely to react emotionally to stimuli that we might typically handle with ease. This phenomenon is often experienced in daily life, for instance, becoming tearful over a minor inconvenience after a particularly stressful day. 3. Emotional context of travel. The purpose and context of a journey can significantly influence a traveler's emotional state. Passengers might be leaving loved ones or returning home after a long absence, embarking on an exciting adventure or returning from a relaxing vacation, traveling for somber reasons such as attending a funeral. These underlying emotions related to the purpose of travel can prime individuals to be more emotionally reactive during the flight. 4. Sense of isolation and reflection. Despite being surrounded by other passengers, air travel can create a sense of isolation. Removed from daily routines and responsibilities, passengers may find themselves in a reflective state, more attuned to their emotions and more susceptible to emotional stimuli. The unique case of children and infants. While adults may experience heightened emotions during flights, children and infants often face more immediate physical discomfort. The primary issue for young travelers is ear pain caused by changes in air pressure. Ear pressure is regulated by the eustachian tubes, which equalize the pressure inside the ears with the external environment. During rapid altitude changes, these tubes may not adapt quickly enough, leading to painful pressure differences on the eardrum. Children, especially infants, have smaller eustachian tubes, making them more susceptible to this discomfort. While adults can often alleviate the pressure through various techniques, yawning, chewing gum, using earplugs, young children may not have these options available to them, leading to crying and distress during takeoff and landing. Implications and considerations. Understanding the potential causes of heightened emotions during air travel has several implications. For passengers, being aware of this phenomenon can help travelers prepare emotionally for their journey. Staying hydrated, getting adequate rest, and managing stress before and during the flight may help mitigate some of the physiological factors. Choosing in-flight entertainment wisely, based on one's emotional state and the trip's context, might be beneficial. For airlines, recognizing passengers' potential for heightened emotions could inform customer service approaches and in-flight offerings. Providing a comfortable cabin environment, in terms of humidity, temperature, and lighting, might help alleviate some physiological stressors. For researchers, the lack of extensive research on this specific phenomenon presents opportunities for further study in fields such as psychology, physiology, and aviation medicine. Conclusion: the Mile Cry Club phenomenon, while often discussed anecdotally, represents a complex interplay of physiological and psychological factors unique to air travel. From the slight oxygen deprivation and dehydration to the stress of travel and the intimate viewing experience, numerous elements contribute to our potential for heightened emotions in the air. While more research is needed to fully understand this phenomenon, recognizing its existence and potential causes can help both travelers and airlines better prepare for and manage emotional responses during flights. Whether it's keeping a pack of tissues handy or selecting in-flight entertainment with care, acknowledging the possibility of heightened emotions can lead to a more comfortable and self-aware travel experience. Ultimately, if you find yourself tearing up at a movie you've seen a dozen times before while flying, remember that you're not alone. The Mile Cry Club has a large and diverse membership, united by the unique emotional landscape of air travel.